Have you gone on the carnivore diet to reverse chronic constipation, did everything correctly, and you are still dealing with it? Let's talk about this in today's video. I am Sylvia, I'm a carnivore diet coach. Welcome back to my channel. It takes anywhere from 2 weeks to maybe 6 to 8 weeks to resolve chronic constipation, also known as idiopathic constipation. And this happens when you go on the carnivore diet because you remove all the fiber. And I would actually reframe idiopathic constipation as a sensitivity to fiber, and this was definitely a case with me. As soon as I got rid of all the fiber from my diet, my constipation got resolved, and so I thought that that was it. If you have a constipation, go on the carnivore diet and all your problems will be solved. And then I started coaching people, and it seems to be my luck that I get clients who talk to me when everything else failed, and I have really complex problems to solve with carnivore diet. And the chronic constipation that doesn't get resolved with the carnivore diet is one of them. And I thought I learned everything about it, and I actually made number of videos talking about ways to deal with constipation on the carnivore diet, and yet I learned something new and I'll share it with you today. And that said, this is a good moment to let you know that I'm not a medical doctor. I am a carnivore diet coach, and everything I'm sharing is as I help myself and helping my client to put together a carnivore diet plan. Before I go into my little discovery, let's decide what is not a constipation. So if you remove fiber, your body will be healing. It will take time digesting food and absorbing all the nutrients, which are a lot more bioavailable than the diet full of fiber. So it will take longer for you to go to the bathroom. But as long as you don't struggle passing off the stool, you are not constipated, even if you go to the bathroom every 7 to 10 days. That's correct. Even if you go to the bathroom every 7 to 10 days, but you don't struggle with passing off the stool, you are okay. Also, it is a good idea to talk to your doctor and have them run all kinds of tests to rule out other medical causes of constipation. So for example, if you are chronically deficient in magnesium, it can also contribute to a chronic constipation. Or if you are diagnosed with hypothyroidism, it can also show up as being chronically constipated despite eating all the meat. Now, if you've tried everything under the sun and you are still constipated, and I get these type of comments on my YouTube channel all the time that I am doing everything correctly, I don't have this and I don't have that, my carnivore diet is going great and I am still constipated, and unless I take magnesium citrate or even some worse forms of magnesium, I won't go to the bathroom. What should you do then? If this sounds like you, then perhaps you are dealing with small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and it manifests with this stubborn constipation that will not get resolved by the virtue of going on carnivore diet. Now, one interesting thing I want to add is that many people that deal with constipation don't have the typical discomfort of people that have gut issues. So no bloating, belching. They just realize 2 days, 3 days later that they haven't gone to the bathroom and they have to do something about it, or else it will be a nightmare. But otherwise, they're fine. They can eat everything and they don't know that they have a gut issue. When you eat food, oftentimes it comes with some bacteria, maybe some viruses, even parasites or worms. But if you have a normally functioning stomach acid that is strong as it should, it will kill those parasites and bacteria, and the food will pass to your small intestine and then further down, and everything will be well. But if your stomach acid is not as strong as it should be, then those bacteria will not get killed. They will get to your small intestine and they will settle down there and start producing all kinds of toxins. And one of these toxins can paralyze your nerves that control the muscle movements of your bowels, slowing down your bowel movements, and that will manifest as chronic constipation. The movement of your bowel muscles is called a migrating motor complex, and it kind of looks like it sweeps through your intestines to move the food and bacteria along with it further down. And so if all goes well, that bacteria does not have the opportunity to get stuck in your small intestine and start multiplying there, unless you don't have a good stomach acid. The food doesn't get digested properly, so the bacteria gets to proliferate and start producing toxins that will paralyze those muscles. In my opinion, if you stick long enough with carnivore diet, eventually your stomach lining will get improved, and by that virtue you will start producing strong normal amounts of stomach acid, and your food will start getting digested properly, and all the bacteria that shouldn't be in your small intestine will get killed with the stomach acid. But if you are at the wit's end and you are suffering for a while and your body is not able to fix it just with a carnivore diet, then I think there are some remedies you can try. A lot of people that I have spoken to that were able to resolve SIBO ended up doing fecal matter transplant, FMT. However, the main problem with it is that it is really expensive and you have to pay cash. And also not that many clinics are available here in the United States. There are plenty of them in Europe and in Mexico and in the Caribbean, but here in the United States, not so much. Now, when I was researching these clinics, they all have online stores and they all offer bitters. My guess is they also identify that people that have SIBO have also very weak stomach acid. So if FMT doesn't sound appealing to you, start with some good quality bitters. Another remedy I found in the book of Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, and if you are dealing with SIBO and it's constipation, or maybe even if it's diarrhea, but you know you have SIBO, you can start taking betaine HCl with pepsin, and you should be aiming for 200 to 300 milligrams of betaine HCl and 100 milligrams of pepsin in that capsule. More affordable way of using FMT is to order fecal matter, have it delivered, and have it encapsulated and take it orally. And that is a lot cheaper than going to the clinic and have it done over the course of 3 to 5 days, depending on how severe your gut microbiome is compromised. If you purchase fecal matter and have it delivered to your home and take it orally, you are looking anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000, depending on the clinic and where you are ordering from. But if you're looking to do a full-blown transplant, and let's say the closest location for us here in the United States would be Mexico, then you are looking at least 5-day trip to the clinic, and then you have to pay for the hotel and for the procedure itself. And there really isn't a top limit of how much you can spend, but it will probably start around $16,000, so it's not cheap. A lot of my viewers are also familiar with Western Price Foundation and the GAPS diet, and both of these advocate for lots of fermented foods, so things like sauerkraut, homemade kefir and yogurt. But the trouble is that a lot of people with undiagnosed SIBO that manifest as constipation, and not only constipation, they will also have histamine intolerance, because those microbes are also capable of creating histamine, and your body will start being sensitive to it as it tries to fight the toxins produced by those microbes. So if you ingest anything that has histamine, and a lot of aged and fermented foods do, then you might have histamine reaction, like things like itching, hives and swelling, like just really allergic reaction to foods that have histamine in it. If it were me and I had to solve a SIBO problem manifesting as constipation, I would stick with carnivore diet, eat lots of organ meats and saturated animal fats to rebuild my stomach lining to strengthen the acid production, and I would help myself with bitter first. And then I would also experiment with betaine, HCl and pepsin. and my last resort probably would be a form of FMT. Alright, so this will do it for this week's video. I hope this is helpful to all of you that are at wit's end and can't solve your constipation. Think about it from the perspective of dealing with SIBO that wasn't properly diagnosed, and maybe strengthening of your stomach acid will solve the problem for you. If you haven't yet, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!